recording?
Are you recording?
Yay. I'm also recording.
Ooh.
Hi. Welcome to Romance Writers Therapy.
Hi.
That's... Hi. That's Marty B.
Yes, it is.
And I'm Kate Pryor.
Yes, it is. Hi, listener.
Hi, listener. Marty, how are we doing this week?
Well. Listener, I'm really...
We're doing well?
Yes, but also that was a pause before I, to process thoughts.
I know. I'm just giving you
It's fair. So listener, seasonal allergies have started up for me, and my throat's not feeling great, so I have a cough drop in my mouth. Sorry if you can hear it.
Ooh, yeah. Yesterday, we had to go to Home Depot to buy a toilet seat because ours broke, and then, first thing in the morning, because this thing was taking, bites out of your ass.
Oh, not fun.
The worst kind of
That
broke.
is unacceptable broke. That is a vulnerable place to be broken.
Yeah, and so we came back from the car, and, Austin's just immediately oh my god, the allergies are just killing me. He sneezes, 5 times from the car to the door. And then we get inside, we realize we've left it out there, and he was like, you seem unaffected. You have to go get it. I will assemble it, but you need to get things out of the car.
We are now to the stage where the outdoors is attacking me, so I'm gonna need you to be my knight in shining armor.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why are you sneezing so much? It's fine.
Well, and I got a warning that my seasonal allergies were coming because Jude's nose was running yesterday. And so I have their...
Canary in the coal
Yeah,
mine.
exactly. So I have their allergy meds set out on the counter, and hopefully they remember to take them tonight, because I would really like them to start having it in their system, because if we can get ahead of it, we can not get miserable from it. But okay, so how am I doing this week?
Yeah. What are you writing? What are you reading?
Well, I am still reading A Novel Disguise. I can't remember who it's by.
Yeah. You're reading 2 books at once, because you keep telling me about the book that you will not DNF, but you really should.
If I didn't have friends that had specifically asked me to read that book and chat about it, I would DNF it. But I can 100, and if I DNF'd it now, they'd be like, oh, well, it resolves at the end of the book. Or, oh, well, that gets better at this point. And so it's I will not be unprepared to be nope, it doesn't, my friends. I love you to the moon and back. I don't get this one, right?
Right. I hate to leave listener in suspense, but, our not dunking on books policy.
Yeah.
But I will say, it did take me 2 or 3 read-throughs of the series to really start to enjoy it.
Why did you read it so many times?
I think the first time I read a lot of things that are popular, I hate them, hate them.
Yeah.
And I express how much I do during that period, and then after a few months, I'm actually, I would like to try that again.
Okay.
I kind of miss it, and then I'm each read through after that, I kind of can see the ways that the things that made it good.
Yeah, I feel I have a really strong sense of why people have connected to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's easy to see those parts. It's just it's got all those other parts.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, I'm really sorry to be annoying and vague. We're just not going to tell you. And in fact, listener, a couple episodes ago, we did tell you. So, let that be let that be an Easter egg to you.
Yeah, you got to go back and listen to all our episodes to find it.
It was a couple episodes back, but forever ago back. Forever ago back. Just keep on going back. Nope, you haven't found it yet. Keep going.
No, further.
Listen more. And leave leave a review. Okay?
On every
episode. Thank you. So yeah, I'm doing that reading. And I'm definitely to the point where I should be feeling a lot of anxiety and pressure to get this book done. Not the book I'm reading. Sorry. Now I've moved on to Remy and Alicia Fall Again.
Okay, you say You said get this book done? Didn't you start this book like just a couple months ago?
Yeah. No, I started it last month. But I did that thing where I fucked around and now I'm finding out. So,
which again, what is why this should have been your series title?
Grand Ridge. Like
fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. I could change it still. If it wouldn't get me in like marketplace jail, I would totally do it.
I bet you could like
asterisk
censor
it out
in like the least, like because there's a book called Duke I'd Like to F, and then like an ellipsis after F, and it's like, okay, yeah, all right.
We all know what that is.
I think it's an anthology. I'm not 100 on that.
I think you are absolutely right. So you think that the series should be Grand Ridge, Fuck Around and Find Out?
Yeah.
I kind of love that. Well, it could be that, like, this is Grand Ridge, Fuck Around, and then, like, the next, like, bracket of the series is Grand Ridge, Find Out.
Yeah.
Right?
Every prequel book is a fuck around.
Yeah.
Elisha and Hazel, you had, like, a little prequel and then, like, the main story of them getting together. Because I just had this thought, like, because Remy and Alicia are a second chance romance, are you gonna write their little prequel story?
No.
No!
I see what you're doing there, and I don't think you're wrong. Because also,
I think...
then there's a ton of history with the next couple as well.
Wow, it's almost like you've made a pattern, and you should fulfill it.
No, because I've only done it once. And then you had the dawning.
6 more times.
I saw the light bulb go off on top of your head. I see what you're doing. But do you ever want me to get to Lily's book?
Oh, I'm not that committed to this. I really just wanted you to, like, think about it and then maybe do it.
Lily's book or the prequels?
Lily's book.
Oh, don't worry. I have a plot and tropes. You ruined me.
Okay. Listener, you weren't there for it because we weren't recording
at the time.
Some of our conversations are recorded for quality assurance, but not all of them.
Or not so quality assurance.
Oh, yeah, no. The thing is, we're trying not to have quality. If we have quality, it goes off and we get alerted. It
was deeply unnecessary. Get that quality out of here.
You were reading one of your chapters to us, and and the character Lily kept really badly hitting on Remy.
And she's
like
so
her
off the wall
for this series. Yeah, and she's so bad at it. Like, I think you had a moment where you wrote, she brushes her side boob on him, and I had to be like, Austin, come over here. We're gonna see how this actually, like, if it's physically possible. I need to get my arm out of the way. You need, okay.
Oh, okay. No, you keep his arm in the way.
You keep his arm in the way, but, like, your arm needs to not be in the way.
Yes.
Like, how side is this side boob?
I mean, it depends on how big the boob, too, though. And, like, it's positioning as well. Like, do you have very, like, wide set breasts? Because then you can do better side boob.
Physics on this is the math that is required to make this work.
Kate, will you draw, like, 1,000 sticky notes? And we can just post them. Yeah, so Lily's a special little sort, and...
And so she was just so bad at flirting, I was like, I can't believe she's not the heroine. I can't believe you're not gonna give us a book about her.
Well, she is now. She's gonna get her book. And then, also, I decided on a plot and trope that Kate needs to write for me.
Oh, yeah?
As a birthday gift. So...
The third of my wolf brothers, whose book is so far off, I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like.
I already told you what it's gonna be like. You just have to listen to me.
I'm like, all right, I got 2 elements and nothing else.
That's
like,
okay.
I'm sitting here trying to come up with more of a personality for him. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be.
I'm so excited about those books. I have thought about a couple things about that series that is just, it's so funny, Kate. You're doing such a great job. I'm super excited.
I know. God, I wanted to talk about this with you because I was like,
Yeah.
this book, like, I'm writing it, like, I was working on cleaning up the last half kind of outline. Last half of the book outline, because I've explained my weird outlining process.
Yeah, you kind
and
of
how
like
things just kind of keep moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like so by the time I get like halfway through the book, I try to like reorganize what's left of like all the stuff that didn't get written or I have seen ideas for that, hasn't happened yet. And, like when I get to that point, I realize, oh, the book's halfway done. And usually it's oh my god, I have at least, like, I've got another half to go, but it's like, right now, it's like, oh my god, I feel like I haven't written enough, like, I need more room in the story. This can't be the halfway point.
Yeah.
And I kind of want it to be a full-length, like, quote-unquote novel, like, at least 50,000 words, not technically a novella kind of thing. And I'm excited for that.
I am too. How many words do you have at this point?
I think it's at like 34,000.
Oh yeah, you're right there.
Yeah,
Dude,
so I definitely think
excited.
that there's... But also, like, this has been the easiest book to write so far.
Isn't that wild?
Strangely. Yeah!
Okay, because, like, that's the thing with Remy and Alicia. Gathered, I've been sitting with their story for a while, right? Writing...
Does it feel like you're hitting, like, a stride with what it means to, like, set up and, like, follow through with the romance?
Absolutely.
Like, the beats, the characters.
Well, and, like, I'm not even, like, focused at all on hitting the beats. I'll just every once, like, I was kind of wondering where to go next. And so I was like, okay, well, what needs to, like, what would the beat traditionally be? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's totally what I should be doing right now. And then, like, I was able to plug that in, right?
Okay.
But, like, in the beginning, like, I didn't follow any of the beats. Now it's like, okay, I just have to, like, I've been kind of just sitting with, like, their emotional place has changed from the beginning, and now I have to get it to the point where it's changing again, right? But, like, I just feel like I have such a clear idea of that. I don't know, like, what is going to happen that is, like, their breaking point. Does that make sense? Like, not their breakup, but, like, their breaking point from going, like, fuck it, we're doing this. Right? I haven't quite figured that out yet.
Yeah, like what makes them kind of get back together, but not fully, because it's second chance for these
two. Yeah. And you're writing a second chance, too.
Yeah, which is wild. Like, we both
so
kind of independently, like, started writing second chance romances and started telling each other about it.
Yeah.
And being like, wow.
Well, and, like, this is a book I've been, like, planning to write since I was writing, like, I knew I wanted to write Remy's story when I started writing him into Just Fake Married. And so I've had such a long time to sit and kind of think about him and, like, stuff like that. And I wasn't fully committed to it being a second chance romance because I usually don't enjoy them. The way I feel about these two coming back together is really positive. Okay, but you were saying that I just started writing this. I did just start writing this. But with all the fucking around and finding out, I got myself set up so I'd have like a month and a half to write it before it was due. So it's like fine, especially since my first drafts tend to only be about 45,000 words, and like I'm doing okay. But like your girl's got to get cooking. Like, she's got to get moving. So
yeah, that's quite a task you set yourself.
Yeah. Well, and then I also have technically more time. Like, I have technically 9 more days that I'm planning on using.
Making it difficult for the fun of it?
No, my anniversary is, like, in there as well, right? Between...
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I have, like, a wedding to go to on the 30th, and I have my anniversary on the 3rd. And, like, we are going away, just the two of us, for a couple nights, and... I don't want to be like, well, I do have to do some writing. You know what I mean? Like, I want to actually just be gone.
Go sit over there while I do my thing.
So I just really want to not be thinking about it and concerned about it. So I'm trying to be done by the 30th. So that's what I'm trying to do. If I'm not, then I will still have about 3 days left to do some work on it. So, Kate, you were talking a little bit about, and this is kind of like a great, like me talking about not wanting to be like, Andrew, I've got to write while we're on our anniversary vacation, right?
Yeah.
Is how, like, between getting the writing done and life and, like, having a job, how much, like, my personal relationships are, like, very much, like, fitting into very small pockets in my life, including my husband. And that's a challenge. Are you feeling that at all? Or is that just a me thing right now?
Okay, you threw me for a little loop because I wasn't, like, expecting to do the
Oh.
relationships part.
We don't have to.
Oh.
We definitely don't have to. I didn't mean to. That was the direction I thought we were going with that conversation before recording. And I can just comment on this. You don't have to.
No, I mean, like, my personal, like, emotional state is that, like, because I have been a hermit for a very long time, and I definitely do this thing, especially, like, every time I experience seasonal depression. So, like, in, like, the winter end of the year, I tend to, like, push people who are my friends away.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of do this. I know this is, like, my toxic trait. I push people away, and then I get mad at them for, like, not hanging out with me, even though I've, like, given them no opportunity. It's such a, you know, it feeds into itself. And so definitely, like, the pandemic did not help this side of me, because it kind of enabled it quite a bit. And I, you know, I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I need to, like, evaluate the way that, like, you know, like, you say to yourself, oh, I'm just an introvert. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do things with people. And then you find yourself sitting home alone and you wondering why you're bored, you know? And I'm just kind of doing this thing like, well, maybe I need to figure out how I can participate with people in a way that isn't draining.
That's fair.
You know, like, I don't want to, I'm not trying to, like, leave my comfort zone or anything. But, you know, push outside of it a little, because I've gotten a little too comfortable.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I get how the pandemic could have enabled that. Because, like, I have always been super social. And the pandemic forced me to stop doing that. And so it really did help me see, like, okay, yes, it's fun to be around people, but not being around people right now is allowing me to get actual, and I don't want to call it work, because that makes it feel like I'm, like, work is associated capitalism and, like, productivity and, like, stuff like that. But, like, I am getting my writing done, and this is a passion of mine. And one of the reasons why I wasn't getting anything done is because I was socializing to the point where that was my only other, like, that was the only thing that could have passion in my life, was the relationships in my life, right?
Yeah.
And so the pandemic really gave me perspective on, like, I don't need to hang out with people nearly as much as I was. And I think that that's been kind of challenging for some of the people who have been in my life for a long time, because, you know, they're getting together and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I just can't, right? Like, which is a very not me response, right?
Yeah, no, I get you. It's very weird to, like, go from one way to the other.
Yeah, and they're being incredibly gracious and beautiful and wonderful, but I also think that it is, like, just kind of weird. But, like, as an extrovert who gets an incredible amount of energy from talking to people or being around people, but also having the experience of how exhausting it was just to be alone, like, I feel for you as an introvert at the idea of, like, being around people. You know what I mean? Like, the way it drained me to be alone would be what drains you to be around people. And that's not fair, right?
Yeah. No, The way you're talking about, like, how you didn't really have time for your writing before, when you were committing a lot of time to other people, one of the... It's like, so weird, 'cause, like, I feel like one of the that's not what I want. One of the thoughts I've had about my writing for, like, the longest time was that I knew I spent a lot of time writing because I wasn't putting the effort into making friends and keeping friends and, you
Yeah.
know, engaging with people. Like, I knew that this was the choice I was making, like, when I was in, like, high school.
Yeah, because there's only so much time. It all has to be balanced somewhere.
But it was also, like in high school, it was definitely, like, a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, like, you know, having friends can't hurt me if I don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you know, the kind of thing that, like, you think you're protecting yourself, but then, like, you're really just kind of stabbing yourself.
But, like,
or setting yourself up.
The reverse side of that exists as well, right? Where my time is validated because it's shared with others. Was, like, kind of the way I was in high school, right? I didn't give my personal passions the same attention that I am now because I devalued that time compared to the time I had with other people, because that was also part of the messaging of, like, of the society I grew up in. Do you have any more thoughts on this?
I have, like, one more thought. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely, there's been a lot of change in my life over the course of, like, when we started the podcast.
Yeah.
I think, did we start it, I can't remember if I got a job a few months into the podcast or, like, a year after we started the podcast.
I want to say a few months into the podcast. But I don't know for sure. Neither of us had published anything yet. I was just recently, like, having, like, because also, yes, my life has changed quite a bit since we started started doing the podcast. And I was also recently, like, doing a memory lane sort of thing where I was like, all the things that have happened since then.
Yeah, like, okay, now I think I remember. Because, like, we started the podcast, I published my first little thing. Because I think one of our first few episodes was about the anthology.
Yes.
And right after that, I published mine maybe, like, 2 months later. Mm-hmm. And then I got a job in November of that year. So I think maybe we started in, like, July, maybe?
That makes sense. No, I think it was right in November.
Even
I think we started recording in, like, July, but then we actually started, like, publishing in November. I mean, it's all, like,
yeah, because we recorded a bunch of episodes before we even started posting because we wanted to make sure we could keep this up as, like, a habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've gotten a lot more chill about that. So.
Yeah, no, we no longer have 10 episodes, like,
just
waiting
sitting
to
there.
be published at a time.
Yes, because they were also, like, pre-edited, like, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's definitely fallen into, like, I think the way you and I have traditionally gotten things done for ourselves is, like, it'll happen, right? Like, it's okay.
Yeah. It did throw me for a loop at first when you brought it up, like, the way that relationships play into, you know, what our lives look like now, and, like, because it has become a theme in my life now that has not really been before, of how I allot my time and how I figure out when to spend time with people who I don't live with, because, you know, now it's just me and Austin.
Yeah.
And so we could, you know, if no one ever was like, hey, come have dinner with us, or, hey, you know, you want to hang out with us, we would probably just spend every night in making dinner and then watching TV. We're very homebody, like, and I was not prepared to, like, have to schedule time with people, which, so that's a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
Growing pain. But so the prompt that, not prompt, but, like, the thing I was talking, I messaged you about was, like, the idea of how we measure success. Two thoughts on that. Because that was what this episode was going to be about. Yes. And then, like...
Well, and I'm totally... I was anticipating that. I just, like I said before we were before we were recording, I thought that was the direction you were going with the conversation. And it's something that I have been, like, working in my brain about, right? And I was like, oh, cool, great, yeah, we're totally going to talk about this, right? So sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I have great support, and I absolutely, like, appreciate it so much. And, like, I don't think it's not writing that is the big, like, time constraint on, like, Andrew and I getting to hang out. But man, Andrew and I have to we have to schedule an hour here or there sort of thing. Like, it's like during the week, it's like we are working side by side. And like by the time we go to bed, we have enough time and energy to be like, hey, I love you. I'll talk to you on the phone tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my god.
It is insane how
we're
much...
We're here together now, but we're gonna schedule a time to chat.
Exactly. Well, and we have to call each other a couple times a day because that's when we actually get to talk. Meanwhile, we actually get to talk while I still have, a kid at home, or we're both getting work done. It's not focused. Like, we're still, fitting each other into pockets where pockets are available, right?
Yeah.
And it's just this idea of not even so it's not perfectly aligning with writing being you have to find time for the things that are important, but also man, there just is not enough of it, right? We're trying really hard to just see each other. So yeah, I don't want to be thinking about my book while I'm away for my anniversary. I just want to be with Andrew at that time. So, and he's awesome. He'll chat with me about everything. Oh my gosh, he cracked me up the other day. So I was I was talking through an issue I was having with Remy and Alicia, and I was like, I don't know, there just really isn't an inciting incident. They just kind of keep on ending up at the same place at the same time. And he's like, I don't know, maybe she's funny and cute and has a great set of tits. Yeah, maybe she does. He's like, maybe you're overthinking this and just let him be cool. Okay. So anyway.
Sometimes a pair of tits can be a plot.
And why not? Why not use it as a plot device?
I love it.
It was so funny. But anyway, we were going to talk about success.
We were, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I love the way you've taken it, though. That it's, success not just from, a very capitalistic view of what success means, but, a evaluation of, where we are now from where we started.
I love that.
In all parts of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, Andrew and I were just talking about, how different it was starting kindergarten last year, because we were still masking up everywhere. And we weren't going anywhere. Your
kids started school, right?
Last year, Jude started school, and then this year, starting school is completely different. It's just so much. It is such a different experience, and the idea, I'm so much less shell shocked at being social than I was at the beginning of last year. At the beginning of last year, it's I had forgotten all of my social skills. It was so intimidating. But I actually have an interesting metric. Apparently I'm going to talk about my husband a lot this episode. For how I am deciding success right now.
Okay.
And it was in June, I was describing to Andrew how I'm pretty much just going to be on deadline until December 1st, right? It is just, this task after this task after this task after this task, right? And he's like, are you feeling stressed or pressure? I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling a bit. And he's like, are you kind of happy about it? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of happy about it. That idea that I am
be happy about the stress you have.
Yeah, that this is good stress. This is me fulfilling what I want to fulfill. And that's so rewarding. I just fucked up my nail. Anyway.
You want to do the nail break where we talk about our nails?
I do, because I also got Wicked.
Ooh, you got it.
I got it.
I was messaging you about it earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't get Wicked. I got a couple shades later. I think I told you about it.
Yeah, which it looks so pretty on you.
Yeah, I never thought that something this dark would look this, really, I'm really into this shade, and
it's so pretty.
Very, warm brick kind of red.
Mm-hmm.
But, deeper than brick red. It's so nice. I love it.
Well, this is definitely darker than I normally wear, and it is very much, 90s chic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's really pretty. I'll send you a picture. But, listener, it is Essie Wicked 352, and it is, It's just such a fall color. It's like a very deep reddish brown with like a bit of purple, but like bordering on black too. I don't know how else to describe it. It's very vamp.
No, that sounds very about it. It's very vampire-y.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to talk about success?
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about what I think I was talking to Shoshana about this. I have not edited.
Which I want to listen to that so bad.
She said some really interesting things and kind of gave me a little perspective on like what to look forward to. She's been doing this a little bit longer than the both of. I have been putting so much stress on the Gargoyle book in my head, you know? Like, what if it doesn't do as well as the Orc book?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, what that's going to mean. And, like, if it doesn't. And the way that, like, she was talking about how the second book in a series, people usually don't buy it, so it usually does go down. But then, like, the third book in a series, people look at it like it's a complete series, and then they will buy the whole, like, all three books. And so, as something that she had learned, I think I'm getting that correct. I might not be.
Okay.
But it did, hearing that kind of took some of the pressure off of it for me. Like, if it does bad, it's not necessarily a mark of the book's quality. It may just be because it's a sequel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And well, I've, you know, even though it's not technically the second book, it's just no one knows about the first book, I feel like.
I feel like I've heard so many authors talk about how they'll see big differences between one release to another release, right? Like one does really well, one doesn't do well, and like these things just fluctuate, right? And so I do think it's really important to like, but then also like they'll be like, my least selling book is my favorite book. You know what I mean? Like I think it's really important to know what is it about writing that's important to you. Because yeah, you don't control the market. Like you do your best. I mean, there's just ups and downs all over the place.
One of the things that like, because when we started, I didn't have a job. I was trying to desperately make the freelance thing work. But I think I've expressed before that I was not making enough money most months to theoretically pay rent. I was living at home, so, you know.
So, like, you were fine personally, but, like, if you weren't living at home, you would not be fine personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, the idea was, like, I was like, I couldn't make enough to move out at that point, and I wasn't getting clients consistently enough. And it wasn't really, it wasn't taking off for me. And I didn't have a day job either, which is like, and I didn't have any books published. And, you know, I think like all of those were very glaring to me, like things that said, you have no success. Like you're at block 1.
Yeah.
And even though I ended up kind of haphazardly publishing the Lich book, I didn't really feel like I had, you know, done anything that I wanted to do with it. I didn't feel like I was a real author in any way because it was kind of, it was so short, it was so small, to me it was like, this is a nothing.
Yeah.
I've just thrown it out into the world and done nothing with it else. And then got a job. I enjoy it. That's pretty consistent. I think I don't want to like talk too much about that aspect.
Yeah.
But I do think getting rejected from jobs on the, you know, to every job you apply to does decimate your self-worth pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It really makes you feel like you have nothing to offer. You know, you just got nothing. And the idea that, you know, once you get it, suddenly all that goes away. And it's a really weird feeling. And I don't think anyone should, like, base their self-worth around, like, whether or not capitalism has deigned to, you know, let you have a job for a little while.
Yeah, but we aren't existing in a vacuum. So as much as, like, we ourselves are trying very hard to, like, you know, pluck out patriarchal, capitalist, like, value out of, like, how we evaluate ourselves. It doesn't change the fact that, like,
Oh no,
all
like you
those
still
influences are still
absolutely need
there.
to
Yeah.
make the money you need to get by, which is like when we talk about evaluating ourselves and like where we are, success and all that. I think, you know, you can talk about how much you want to remove capitalism from the equation, but because it's so tied to living and standard of living and all the, like any of that, it's kind of impossible to separate.
As someone who has been a stay-at-home parent and, like, with a spouse that very much is like, hey, the kids are happy and everyone's fed and everyone's developing great and, like, I appreciate you so much. Like, Andrew has never put pressure on me to bring in an income as far as, like, maintaining the children, right? Like, rearing the children. But I still will have moments where, like, I was bringing in no income and, like, looking at my day and being like, I mean, I did not earn my keep today. Right? Like, it is so...
Even though you're doing a full-time job,
well,
you know,
all of
sure
the time.
Stay alive.
No time was I checking out, right? Like, zeros up zilch. Like, yeah, that was there all of the time. Is there all of the time. Because Andrew still is very much the breadwinner in our house. And so I think in terms of, like, well, should I spend this? I mean, I didn't earn it. Right? Which is ridiculous. Our accounts have always been joint. Right? And yeah, it's so weird. This is a very weird episode. But yeah, no, I agree. I can see how it would decimate your confidence. I can see how, like, it doesn't matter how much you are... Well, it does matter how much you're trying to turn off the capitalist voice, but it's still there.
Absolutely. I think, though, that, like, I don't want to neglect that aspect of it, but I don't want to focus on it, you know?
Yeah.
I think, although, like,
well, like,
you know, I don't want to also overlook, because you have talked about how in writing there is an aspect of your financial success in writing that is tied to your goals.
Yes.
You wanted it to be your breadwinning
main
source of income.
I do. Yeah, so it does change. Like, think about how my time is being spent towards writing as well, right? Like, I'm definitely in the mindset of, like, backlist. You know, I might be more languishing if that wasn't my goal. So how has your definition of success, like, altered now as, like, from the beginning of publishing to the way you're feeling now?
Early on, like, you know, when the feeling that you have all the time when you're not published yet, whether, you know, by traditional publishing or self-publishing, I think you have this feeling like you're missing out, like that extreme sense of missing out.
That was totally the words in my head. Like,
you know, it kind of has been sitting with me. Like, I kind of wish I had spent more time, like, I had slowed down a little and, like, really enjoyed what it meant to publish something and build up a small audience and, you know, take every little step of the way and make sure I really know what I'm doing every step of the way.
Don't you think you would have done that if Orc hadn't had its, like, breakout moment? Because I feel like you didn't really have control over this.
No, absolutely not. I didn't.
Yeah. No, you just, like you did a great job. You hit something that the market wanted, and the market ran. And I see your point of, like, kind of like, ooh, kind of be great not to have so many eyes on me right now. Like, I would feel less pressure. But I also don't think that, like, I don't think that you set out to put yourself in this position, other than the fact that you did a great job.
You know, like, when you're younger and not even when you're younger, I think anyone at any age could have this kind of aspiration of, man, wouldn't it be wonderful to, like, get a, like, to have the level of success that, like, and then insert any big name author, you know, who's quote unquote made it, you know, like, I don't know, Sarah J. Maas or uh Stephen King or
Mm-hmm.
you know, like
Lucy Score,
you could
yeah.
yeah, no, like name any big author who like definitely supports themselves on their writing.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't have that level of success, but like
No. But like,
I have even my small corner of like what I have gained. I'm kind of looking at like, ooh, maybe this is a little much for me to like. This is more than I can chew currently. And
mm-hmm.
I'm working on it, and you know, kind of thinking like, oh, all those times I've wished to have like that kind of breakout success.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm glad I never got that. Does that make sense?
But do you feel like you did get it? Because I kind of feel like you did
No,
get it.
I got a tiny bit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is more than maybe I can chew currently. It felt great at 1st
Mm-hmm.
and then it became a lot of pressure that I put on myself.
Well,
Then,
I think that pressure's there anyway, right? Because I did not have that breakout moment. But like when I went to write the sequel to Truth or Dare, I kept on like replaying reviews in my head of it and like people's expectations and like all of that. Like it was all present. And it kept me from being able to write that sequel. Because, like, even if it's only 10 people, I don't want to disappoint those 10 people. Right? It's still more people than I've ever put books in front of previous to that. Right? And so, I think that the pressure would have always been there, Kate. It's just, like, it's just much more validated now than it would have been. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that that's just kind of the nature of, like, opening yourself up to this vulnerability and allowing people to read this thing that like it was nothing, and then you put it down and you worked really hard and you put it out there. Like it does not exist without your brain being, you know, pulling all the levers, right? And now anyone can judge it, right? And that's I know. I'm sorry, I said it, and then I was like, that was not the right wording right now. Like, that was the opposite of the proper way to say this. So I'm sorry.
No, it's, God, do you know that New York Times article? Have I brought this up before? The mortifying ordeal of being known?
You have, but I still haven't read it, and I don't have enough.
It's okay.
I can't recall it. I recall the weird AF name.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I might get the imagery wrong. What it is that there is a basement full of people who are saying nice things about you.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get to the basement, you need to go down a staircase where you have to read or hear everything everyone has ever said badly of you. And, you know, when I read that article, I was like, I would rather not have any of it. No thanks.
That... Yeah, that would be really... Because it takes me a while to, like, move past hearing or feeling anything negative of someone else's opinion about me, right? And so that would be... I don't know if I'd get to the basement. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if that happened.
Yeah, no, and, like, it's a weird setup because it's like, okay, but you can get some compliments before, like, you know, hearing every bad thing anyone's ever said. Like, chill.
Well, but, like, you get
like, a little of both.
Whose definition of bad, right? Because there were things that were said to me as a compliment that hurt my feelings. Right?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, like, I think it's, like, you know, the things that would hurt your feelings on the way to the things that build your ego up. It's been a while since I read this thing, but, like, it has stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I really, when I read a story, I absolutely love the concept of a character who wanted something really badly in the beginning, and then by the end, they're like, actually, I don't want that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and either through growth or learning that the thing that they wanted isn't actually what they think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, ooh, do I love it when it happens to me? How do I feel about this?
Yeah, no, I get that. I also love that in a story.
You're right. It's
one of my favorites.
Narratively, like, nice and, like...
Well, but, like, also there's, like, that very empowering moment where they achieve the thing and then they have the growth over it to realize this does not fulfill me. and I don't need this.
Yeah.
And like the idea of like having that level of clarity is so lovely, right? To like achieve the thing and know like, yes, this gives me what I wanted. Or to achieve the thing and be like, you know, I could pass. And like there's just like that I think is part of the appeal of that trope.
It's definitely growth for me. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot like, what do I actually want out of my writing?
That's an interesting question.
I enjoyed writing. Like, I will always write stories, even if I'm just going to be the only one reading them.
Do you feel like you're,
you know, I'm always with trying to cut out the parts I don't like. I enjoy sharing them with people.
Yeah, and this is a thing that like you don't have to put on you, but the idea of you not sharing your work is hard for me. Like, yeah. I didn't realize that was like even like a thing that was possible, but yeah, it like it like made me feel like a heartache. So, but
yeah, no, I don't think I could stop trying to publish, but like I don't know,
changing the way you do
like
publish and stuff.
Nebulous thought.
No, that's interesting.
You know, when you're a kid and you have this like lifelong dream of doing this thing, but you don't actually know what it entails, then like once you start to figure out what that actually entails, it's like, well, do you still want that? Because like I love movies and I love talking about movies and dissecting them. I hate writing them and I hate making them. And then I hate, like, critiquing them and having to, like, defend my critique to other people.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I couldn't be a critic. So, like, I don't want anything to do with the movie process except to watch them with people and then annoy people about them. Like, that's really the extent of, like, what I want to do with my film degree. And the thing is, I definitely figured this out in my junior year. Like, ooh, I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh man, that is so rough.
And trying to like look around and be like, is it okay if I switch my major now? Is that possible? Will people be mad at me? Is this like a trajectory I can, you know, turn off of? And it ended up being a no. It's too late. Just finish your degree. And then it was a very grueling looking for jobs in the film industry and hating that and idea. Then hating all the work that I did in like any little film or commercial set, like, you know?
So like you had gained the perspective of understanding like you had gone through the growth to realize like this is not for me.
Yeah, well, it's just because like the way that you approach a thing in a very abstract setting, and I feel like this is one of those weird universal truths that like you hear a lot about, and then like it's weird to like actually find concrete livable examples to like really relate it to. Or at least for me, I don't connect things a lot like that. And so when I find things that do connect, then to me, it's like this huge revelation and everyone else is like, yeah, no, that's what that meant the whole time. But I like the abstract you learn about it in like classroom settings or in theoretical like readings about it is a very different practice from what goes on in the making of the sausage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I'm just kind of in that space for writing. I still enjoy writing so much, and the publishing process to me has not gotten to a point where it's untenable, unmanageable. But it's, you know, I'm always going to look for the parts that I don't enjoy that I can figure out how I can get rid of them. But that's just me, you know. Like, yeah. I want to know your thoughts on, like, what it means to, like, I don't know. I thought, like, at one point I thought it was going to be so important if I could sustain a freelance illustration career. And now I have clients that, like, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to begin to fit this in. it's such a compliment that you want me to work with you again, but also I am like
Getting to the point where you need to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need to take on a job, but like I like working with people, so I want to say yes, but like it's figuring out all those factors and kind of getting to the point of realizing maybe I have to let this go.
Mm-hmm. That's hard. That is really hard. Cause like it's still stuff you enjoy.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't draw that much anymore if I'm not
working on
illustrating
something.
for a person.
Do you think if you didn't have illustrations, you would use that time to draw?
I have not drawn really since moving out. I'm gonna be real. I don't know.
I mean, I think that it's really, I know personally, and like for like other friends, like moving out with their significant other, particularly, created a new dynamic that some of the things that they valued doing fell to the wayside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. I can only speak from, living with my husband for forever. But like those things come back, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
At least in my case, they have, and again, it helps to have an incredibly supportive partner. Because I've like put forth in my own head, like, okay, so this publishing wheel just keeps on turning, and like, what does that mean, right?
Yeah.
But like, for me personally, just having the group of people that want to read my books is enough for me to keep on putting out books for them, right? And like knowing that group is going to continue to grow, but like even if there's never like a breakout moment in my career and I just keep on trickling in new readers, that is totally fine by me, because I have people that are really excited for what I do, and that is so rewarding, right?
Yeah, I think it's so good to really truly be able to connect with people on that level.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like to have people who read like Just Fake Married last year, or Truth or Dare last year, which Truth or Dare had its year anniversary and I did nothing for it. Sorry, Truth or Dare.
Aww.
I know, I'm the worst. I didn't realize that I was publishing it on a friend's birthday, and it's like a best friend, and so like, I didn't make something beforehand. I didn't put it out. I know. My poor stepchild. I'll take better care of Truth or Dare, guys. I'm sorry. But like, it's so rewarding to have people like, hey, I loved this book. And like, I had someone else like, hey, do you have can I buy a physical copy, like a signed physical copy? I want more on my shelf. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get those around. But yeah, I mean, that's just like, so rewarding, and I'll take those little moments and just let them keep on being my motivation. And for right now, that's enough for me. I don't know, Kate. How do you feel?
I feel like I've talked a lot this episode, and I want you to talk more to balance it out. Because we're already at an hour mark.
I don't really have anything more to say on it. Like, I've got my little metric of like, are you happy about the stress you have? And that is straight up my my metric for success right now. If the stress meter goes too high, I need to dial back something. If the stress meter goes too low, I can be more ambitious. But like, that is my perfect measure right now.
I think that's a really great way to look at it. Like,
I really like it.
Yeah, no, we should make t-shirts of that.
Ooh, we should. Oh, that'd be so cute. I'm really happy about the stress I have right now. That's really cute. Okay, so Kate, do you have a piece of writing advice?
Ooh, I think it's really great if you drink a glass of wine or do a drug of your choice every night and write the dumbest shit you can think of, and then like look back after 3 months and wonder why you have an entire book.
That is so funny.
God, you think I'm joking.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
You know I'm not.
I know 100% you are not joking, and I love it. My piece of writing advice is write sober. I'm joking.
Oh God, you cannot do this every episode.
I know, I'm the worst. No.
Don't listen to her. Next week, my writing advice is going to be don't listen to Marty.
Yeah.
I'm going to preempt you.
Oh, we're just gonna start gaslighting poor listener.
You mean we haven't?
No, listener, you've been like this the whole time.
Yeah, listener, you have never been gaslit once by
Not
us.
once. Not once.
Not once. Never.
Now write a review for us. My piece of writing advice. Ooh, if something starts feeling dull, make it hornier.
I love that.
I know. I'm really happy about that one. That should be on a t-shirt too.
That should be on a t-shirt. Honestly, you could make stickers out of that. I would buy that sticker.
Yeah, I like it.
That's such a way of living. Like,
I agree.
way of writing.
Yeah.
I do want to read you mine. I'm sorry. I don't want to encourage people to do drugs.
No, you said of your choice. You could go for a really long drive. Yeah, like you can.
I don't want to encourage alcohol use.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't care what drugs you do.
How about achieve your endorphins of your choice?
Endorphins of your choice, I guess, which means if you want to like get a runner's high.
That's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah.
To you weird fucking lunatic.
Did I ever tell you about my cousin?
Your cousin?
Yeah, she's an incredible, like, she is incredibly fit, right? Like, she's a physical trainer and has a master's in nutrition. Like, this is her life, right? This is her number one passion. And she was talking about how, you know, she's starting to get back into running. And, like, you know, it's like anything else. Like, your life gets busy. You stop doing it so aggressively and you come back to it, right? And she's getting back into it. And she's like, yeah, I'm at 13 miles. And, like, I mean, I might as well go the whole, like, marathon, right? And I'm like, that is the most casual shit.
Like 20?
That's 26.
Miles?
26.2 miles. And she's like, well, I'm at 13. I might as well go the full marathon. Like,
that's insane.
And that's just her casually running. Like, that is her just like, this is what I do for fun. This is my hobby. I'm not training for anything. This is just her level of fitness all of the time.
Bottle up whatever endorphin that, like, people who get a lot of enjoyment out of exercise get and distribute it to the rest of us. God.
She's so cool, though. Like, legit, she's, like, an amazing human. So, yeah, when I, like, talk about, like, enjoying running, I am much more casual than her. Like, I am an actual human about it. But, anyway. Listener, where can listener find you, Caters?
You can find me at by Kate Pryor on all the socials and at my website, kate-pryor.com. My newsletter is there. You can find all the latest updates on what I'm doing. How about you, Marty?
I am at...
Sorry. Just for the podcast, if you're a weirdo who likes listening on YouTube better than any other podcast app, we're uploading all the episodes to YouTube.
And by weird, she means Kate. Kate is doing that. So
yeah.
I don't deserve any credit. So, listener, you can find me at Marty V Author on TikTok and Instagram. And you can go to martyv.com and subscribe to my newsletter and get Hazel and Elijah Don't Get Caught. And I'm going to finish every sentence like this. And I think we're all done. Bye, Kate. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, listener. Have a great night.
Bye.